I'm going to call this video the Intek M790 Revisited. Now, we did that customer one, which is still here. One of his other sets is waiting for parts. I had a look again at what the S meter was set to, and it was set right. On the air test, the scratchy corner test, the meter hardly moved. It was ridiculous. And so I reset the meter so that S9 equaled plus 30, which is, sorry, S9, 100 microvolts equaled plus 30, which is not right. That's not the right way to do it at all. But I did it because it looks stupid otherwise. So I'm going to look at our brand new in a box M790 and we'll just see how mine is calibrated. Because you just never know. I mean, I don't know whether the customers own that from new or whether it's something he's bought off eBay or what. So we'll do it this way. I wish I could get into the box though. What do you get in from the bottom? Yes. And these are just about discontinued now, so I did have a quick look, and the people who've got them want 100 quid for them. I don't know what they were. I'm sure they were a little bit less than that, but there aren't many left new. The other thing I noticed is the sensitivity on channel 31, which we use, was dramatically different to where we set it. So I actually reset it so it was more optimised on the UK band. Anyway, I'm sure he'll tell me if he doesn't use the UK band and he only uses CPT band, and then we'll reset it for CPT. But it does not do the 80 channels at the same sensitivity by a long chalk. So we'll put ours on. I bet I've got to plug it into something as well. The first thing we're going to have to do is to set it up for UK channels, and I might still be able to remember how to do that. Oh, that's interesting. It's come on UK channels. So who's had that out of the box? So what we'll do, we're on mic lock. So that's unlocked. So we'll just make sure the frequency count, the signal generator is spot on. Select channel 20. I have no receive, have I? Wow, our set doesn't seem to work. There's no transmit, we've got no receive. Do I get all the Duff ones? Of course, we bought this about 3 years ago. I'll just see if there's a master reset. So, on channel 1 of CPT, it's transmitting. Move over to... As it's warming up, it's starting to work. It's got to be the VCO that's out. So I'll open this up and I'll fix my brand new set. I only got this out to do a reference thing, but you know, you end up with a major operation. It just makes me wonder how many returns these people actually get, you know. I remember with the audio line sets, and it's funny, we did an audio line yesterday. Ace Audio at Nottingham were either the importer or a big importer. And in 1983, when they were starting to clear these things and people who should never have been in CB were coming out of CB, I said, I buy returns. I says, have you got any returns you want to sell me? They were doing the audio line 340 and the audio line 341, and I've forgotten what we came to, something like £10 a unit. And he took me to the basement of the shop, and there were about 100 in each pile. So it wasn't a matter of putting 15 sets in the back of the car. He was coming back with a van. So there you are. It's not something you can sell out of a box, and that's what Woolworths found and Boots the chemist found. So I'm not going to alter this, I'm just going to get it to work. It's lucky we've got the service manual, because at least I'll be able to set the VCO up. See, nothing's getting hot. Right, see if the soldering iron's ready. Just about to send that Mustang radio back to the customer. Put it together, did the final test. No sound from the internal speaker open circuit. So I had to order a speaker, more delay, you know. Nothing's ever straightforward. Right, we've still got no transmit. This is where we'll get the service manual out and we'll look at the VCO, which we didn't have to do with the customer's sets because it wasn't malfunctioning. So they want you to do it on channel 19 CPT. I think that's a flawed procedure, but I'm going to do that. There we go, channel 19 CPT. And it still doesn't transmit on there. So what we need to do is we're looking at adjusting L501. So I expect that's L501, but I will just check. Yes, L501. And they want you to connect your test prod between resistor 406 and capacitor 411 junction. This looks fun. Alright, test point 1. There's a little bit of solder, and it says test point 1 at the side of it, so that's all right. That's pretty impressive. So just need to make sure we've got a ground. So I've got to find out whether we're floating chassis. I'll tell you what, we'll play it safe and we'll actually put this to the power lead. So test point 1. I've got 1.68. So what do we want us to do? On receive, connect the... We'll just put the speaker in so we can actually hear what's going on. But what... Oh, we've actually got a squelches. We haven't on all channels. And they want us to adjust this for 1 volt. This is a rather garbled bit of manual. It says VCO adjustment, mic, receive, volume optional, squelch optional, channel 9 off, connect DC voltmeter between R406 and C411 and ground, which we have done. We're getting 1.7 volts. Then it says adjust L501 for 1 volt at transmit. So why does it tell us that we're at receive? Okay. There we go. It's not even on camera. It was 1.4 something. And it is transmitting. So I'm now going to select channel 20 on UK. At least we're receiving something now. Press transmit, and we have transmit on UK. So it was a VCO. Isn't that shoddy for a brand new set? I was very lucky we had the manual for this, because it's pretty well guesswork otherwise. So what we came to do was to look at how the S meter was performing. I'll tell you what, we'll use the synad meter to determine what it's doing on CP on UK channel 20. That doesn't sound right, does it? Looks like the detector's out, isn't it? Put the oscilloscope on and see what that shows. I'll tell you what, before I do that, we'll see if it's on frequency. Oh, so we're back to not transmitting, are we? Just widen this so we can see. Wrong camera. Still wrong camera. So, why have we got 1.5 volts then now? Because I warmed it up with a soldering iron. Back to seeing whether it's on frequency. Now it's dropped a bit, it should be 105. Sorry, it will be 125. Right, I've tuned it on CPT band channel 40 and I did it on AM. I checked the detector and I've checked the modulation, and we're in Spain mode, so it does 4 watts, and we're now on FM, hopefully. Yep, so we're now on FM. So let's look at this signal meter. So that should be S9 and it's reading a little low. So I'll bring that up. And I've set it there on the customers. And I think we'll do the same with ours. And as we drop the signal meter down, as we drop the signal from the test generator down, that's 30 microvolts, that's 10 microvolts, that's 3 microvolts, and then it disappears off the Richter scale altogether. So unless you've got... the signal meter doesn't start reading anything until you've got 2.5 microvolts into the radio. So it's a bit weird. So now instead of it showing S9, it's showing... I can give it more. There we are. That's even more. So that's how I've set the customers. So it's pretty lousy, to be honest. I've just gone through the receive, and we're doing 0.65 microvolts for 12 decibel cyanide. So I wonder what happens if we go to the other end of the band. We'll dial in that 26965. So let's see if we can reprogram it for UK and see whether it'll actually work. Or does it transmit down here? No. This VCO is weird. Anyway, we'll go back to... oh, it's not returned to receive, has it? So once you press transmit, it doesn't go back to receive. Right, so we'll reprogram it for UK. So at the moment, we should still be there. So now we'll bring it up to 20 UK. So now we've got the UK channels in, and we'll look at that cyanide meter again. So what have we got for UK channels? 0.68 microvolts. So even though I've tuned it for the UK band for channel 20, we're getting inferior results. So if I tell you it's doing 0.75 for 12 decibel cyanide, it was doing 0.65, wasn't it, for on channel 20 CPT, and on channel 1 it was doing 0.6. So even though I've tuned it, it's worse on the channel I've tuned it for. So I've put ours together, it's on an aerial, it's all been tuned up as well as is possible. Very much similar to the customers. And by putting it on 19, we have got signals showing on the signal meter. But you go away from 19, unless you've 2.5 microvolts, there's a little bit of hovering there on the one. Let's go on CPT. What we're going to do, we're going to do another scratchy corner test. And what we're going to do is we're going to get him to stop at Wilsford level crossing, and I'll swap sets over. We're going to do it on this camera now. It's not going to be a separate video. And then we're going to substitute for the customer set, and then at the destination at Rossby level crossing, we're going to swap the radios over again and just see what the results are between the brand new one and the customer set. Because you start to get to think, is there a fault? No, there isn't. They're just as lousy as each other. So there you go. So I'll see you in a bit. We'll do the on the air test. Right, so we've put both the sets side by side, both the 790s. Notice the customer's one, which must be earlier, has got the make embossed in the lid, whereas my brand new one doesn't. So we're using my brand new mic in its cellophane. So we're going to start off with the customer set, and I have just altered the meter so that it now reads plus 30 where it ought to read S9 because it's so on the lazy side. I don't like doing that, but otherwise it's meaningless, as you saw last time, which is why we're revisiting it. So we'll make sure this isn't a normal scratchy corner test. We're not doing the same thing. What we're going to do, he's going to start off at the top of the hill. He's going to call in from scratchy corner. Then he's going to park up by the level crossing at Wilsford. I'm then going to swap sets, and then we'll talk to him on my set from there to the destination 6 miles away at Rossby. Then he's going to park up at Rossby level crossing, and we'll swap back to the customer set and see if we've got the same kind of signal. That's what the plan is. So we'll start off with the customers, and we've already tested this and it works fine. So all I've done to the customer set is I've now optimized it for UK channels instead of being in the center, and what I've found is that even if you optimize it for UK channels, it works better on CPT. It's the way it is. And we're talking about receive here. We've got no issues with the transmit whatsoever.
Chippie, just checking receive me.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, I'll hear from you at the top of the hill.
Right, we just go over the top of the hill to go down in towards Wilsford.
Roger, got you at the top of the hill.
Tango 21 for Mr. Chippie. We're now going round to Scratchy Corner, Wilsford over.
Roger, got you going round Scratchy Corner at Wilsford.
Tango 21 from Mr. Chippie, now in position at Wilford Level Crossing car park.
Okay, just say something. I've just tilted the radio towards me so I can see the meter. So just say a couple of words.
Roger D, Mr. Chippie at Wilford Level Crossing and standing by.
Okay, so it's a solid 5 flickering 7 on this radio. So I'm just going to change radios.
Roger.
Okay, so we're now on my new set. Tango 21, Mr. Chippie, now on the new set over.
Roger that. So I'll reiterate, Mr. Chippie at Wilford Level Crossing and standing by.
Roger, there's a solid 7 on this. There's a very slight difference in the way the meters are aligned, which of course I've done. So now if you carry on your journey and talk to me at the usual points and park up at raw speed, please, over.
Yeah, roger that.
So we'll just continue now on my set.
Right, we're now passing the Kelby turn.
Roger, got you at the Kelby turn.
Right, I'm now in position at Ralston Level Crossing.
Excellent. So could you say a few words, and I've tilted the angle again so I can just get a reading.
Roger that. This is Mr. Chippie at Ralston Level Crossing and standing by.
So that's S3 to S4 on this one. Right, I'll swap radios.
Roger that.
Tango 21 now back on the customer's set over.
Yep, roger that. So this is Mr. Chippie at Ralston Level Crossing and standing by.
And to be honest, it sounds the same, so I'm satisfied it does. Does it sound the same to you?
Yes, spot on, just the same.
That's excellent. So the S reading's about quarter of a point down on this one, but it's the way I've adjusted it because I'm not setting it. Instead of setting it to 100 microvolts S9, I've set it to somewhere around S30 for the same because it was just too low. But it's still daft. Anyway, that's it. Job's over.
Roger that then, so I'll say 10-10 and I shall catch you later.
Roger, I know you're going to take a parcel in as one of the chores this evening, so thanks for the test. 10-10.
Yep, no problem, 10-10.
Okay, so I've gone to a lot of trouble to set our brand new one up, to compare it with the customer set, because when I came to do the Scratchy Corner test on the customer set, and it didn't perform as well as I would have expected because of the way the test set was, and of course the meter read low, but it was set right. So when I got the new set out, I actually found that the meter was set for S7 equaling 100 microvolts. The fact I'd set the customers for S9 equaling 100 microvolts actually made it less lazy, shall we say. But I've recalibrated something I don't normally do. You know, the rules are the rules. It's 100 microvolts for S9 on a UK CB set. But on this occasion, I've set it so that is plus 30. And it gives a little bit more meaningful reading to somebody who's used to seeing other types of set. So it's a funny kind of meter. But that does have the proper RF meter, and other than that, they seem to be good sets. I did change a capacitor in the customer's set, 1000 microfarads at 25 volts, and you can just see, especially if I zoom in, especially if I select the right camera, that it started to pop its top. And when I measured it on the meter, in fact we'll measure it on the meter right now, and you'll see that it's not doing 1000 microfarads anymore. 830 something. So it was on its way out. That I don't know whether somebody's put stupid volts up it, but to do that, I mean, it's 25 volt rated. Surely you'd have to put 24 volt lorry battery across the radio. You never know, do you? You just don't know what's happened to things. So that is the conclusion, and that's why we revisited the M790. So I can now send that back to the customer, not with our mic, with his faulty mic, and he can buy himself another one. So there we go. We don't need to put it through to the base station. We know what it sounds like. We've done an on-the-air test before, and jobs are good, as they say. So if we haven't got any more repairs in, I've got a great GT868 that I would like to look at tomorrow, which is a Lake 950, because we've still got to finish the Fidelity 1000 recap, because if you remember, the squelch doesn't work on that set. So by doing a GT868, I can start making some voltage measurements, and we can compare where things are going wrong in the circuitry. So that's what the plan is, but if a repair comes in, well, we'll do that instead. So thank you for watching. Intek M790 Revisited.